And for a better understanding of this game-changing vaccine, we're joined by Seth Cheetham, and he's director of the Australian Personalised mRNA Cancer Immunotherapy Hub at the University of Queensland. Thank you very much, Professor, for joining us. How significant, how excited are you that this result, and are we truly looking at a breakthrough in cancer treatment, or is it just too early to say that it is a breakthrough?
Yeah, this is a case where I'd say this is a real breakthrough. So many studies have shown in early stages that these therapies have a great potential, but this is a final stage study in a large population of people with melanoma that's really showing that this is outperforming the standard of care for treatment of these patients.
Right. So then what's interesting here is that this treatment is personalized to each patient's tumor. So in simple terms, how is this done? Tell us, what's the difference between this vaccine and the vaccine that's, used to fight COVID?
Yeah, that's a great question. So usually vaccines for infectious diseases, they're all designed the same, and they're trying to prevent you getting infected with a pathogen. This vaccine is teaching your body to better recognize cancer cells and eradicate them from the body. And this uses the unique genetic blueprint that each cancer cell has. So even though cancers may be the same type of cancer, so for example, melanomas, they can be very different. And this uses the genetic blueprint of an individual tumor to design a vaccine that will enable your body to recognize those tumor cells better and eradicate them from the body. It's truly a breakthrough in individualized medicine.
Right. So how fundamentally different is this vaccine then from, let's say the traditional methods, right? And that's like chemotherapy or immunotherapy for that matter then?
Yeah, it's very different in that you can think of this kind of vaccine as being like almost a most wanted poster, which you can put up for your body to be able to better recognize the cancer cells when it sees them. What's great about it is that it actually works in synergy with existing treatments, such as Keytruda, which you mentioned before. Keytruda works by stopping cancer cells from putting brakes on your immune system so that your immune system can better fight cancer. In addition to that, taking the brakes off, which Keytruda does, this cancer vaccine is giving the immune system a better picture of what the cancer cells look like. And those two things really work well together to create a synergistic effect so that this treatment outperforms just Keytruda alone.
Right. So this treatment now happens after the tumor has been removed. So how quickly can this vaccine be designed and then manufactured?
That's the incredible thing about this technology, and where it really takes advantage of that core mRNA technology that we saw the power of during the COVID pandemic. These vaccines can be designed and manufactured in a matter of weeks. So these obviously speed here is really key, as you've got patients that are sick with cancer. And these vaccines can be delivered in as little as 6 to 8 weeks from the tumor coming out of the patient to having an individualized cancer vaccine designed and manufactured and going back to the patient.
Right, we keep hearing about this being personalized. So if this treatment is going to be designed for each patient, how expensive is this going to be? And the question next then, is it even scalable? How do you even do this, tailoring a cancer vaccine for each individual patient?
Yeah, while this is an incredible scientific breakthrough showing that these things actually are effective in patients, the next challenge will really be scaling them out to the broader community. I have great confidence that the companies involved in this will be able to achieve that. And that's due to the power of mRNA manufacture, which, as we saw during the pandemic, can really be scaled up to population scale, but can also be scaled down to single individuals and really allows you to rapidly manufacture these vaccines at scale. But it will be a challenge designing these for individual melanoma patients once we're deploying this to thousands of people outside of the context of a clinical trial.
Right. So speaking of this trial, we still don't yet have full data of the long-term survival. The report does say that the trial is still ongoing and that it will continue to follow volunteers to determine whether the drug extends overall survival. Then the question begs is, how long away are we from actually seeing this being approved? I guess the question is, what's next here then?
Yeah, so Moderna's already said that they're hoping to use this data to file for regulatory approval in the United States, so taking this data to the FDA. But as you said, this is just the initial data that's shown an improvement in what's called recurrence-free survival. So that means that after they've taken out the tumour and they've given the patients this vaccine in combination with Keytruda, they're seeing a decrease in the number of times that cancer comes back, which is the aim of these cancer vaccines. What they haven't yet shown is an improvement in overall survival, which is a data point that usually takes a longer time to accrue. So over the next couple of years, you'll start to get that kind of data. But I think Moderna and Merck, on the strength of their existing data, will be trying to file for an accelerated approval and get this to patients as quickly as possible.
When you say accelerated, give us an idea of the timeline, that we're looking at. Are we looking in the next 5 years, or are we looking something so quickly as the next 2 years?
Yeah, I think within the next 2 years is realistic. And
can this new method move beyond just melanoma to other types of cancer? For instance, lung, breast, even pancreatic for that matter?
That's one of the most exciting things about this technology is we think it'll be generalizable to a large number of different kinds of cancer. So there's already ongoing trials in cancers like lung cancer, but in very early stage trials, we've already seen promise in some of the really difficult cancers like pancreatic cancer. So the hope is that this technology will be really broadly applicable to quite a wide range of cancers, and that this melanoma trial is really just the start of a wave of those trials.
Right. Speaking of a start, is mRNA vaccine then the beginning of a new era in cancer treatment where, cancer then will one day be treated almost like an infectious disease? You identify, you create the vaccine, and then you eliminate it.
Yes. So the difference, I guess, between cancer and infectious diseases is this can't prevent cancer arising in the first place. What this can do is once you identify someone with cancer, you can basically stop it coming back. So if you can treat the person in the first place, you can stop it ever coming back. And that's really the aim of cancer vaccines. And what I think is really exciting about this trial is that it shows really an approach through which we can get to an individualized way of treating cancer and away from a kind of one-fits-all approach that we've had in the past.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us and sharing your insights. And we've been speaking with Seth Cheetham, and he is director of the Australian Personalised mRNA Cancer Immunotherapy Hub at the University of Queensland.